are staying with this. And for folks who are in the path, folks in Maynard and Sudbury, you need to be watching this. You need to watch the path of this storm. As Harvey was saying, it's a fluid situation where the tornado could strike, or we could start to get reports of actual rotation within this cell. We're starting to see, again, the pulsating of this storm, and we're starting to see the intensity return. Guys, we were talking about the losing of the magenta color, and it is popping back up in that cell as we're watching it move to the southeast. Now, the warning is up until 8:30. It is 8:15 and 41 seconds right now, so we will be watching the next 15 minutes to see how this plays out. But if you are in Wayland, 20 minutes away from you, even if you're not receiving tornadic winds, you certainly could be getting strong straight-line winds, large hail, and also some flooding rains, Ed and Heather.
So is this a byproduct, do you think, JC, of the fact that we've had so many warm days here? Or,
sure.
Because the intensity of it at 8:16 in the evening is impressive and frightening, but impressive.
Without question, and the mechanisms for these haven't been that strong. I mean, what we have are just really good dynamics in the atmosphere to produce this kind of strengthening with the storms and possibly, again, this rotation. So the heat and the moisture in the air, those are just those added ingredients to possibly make this strong to potentially severe weather that we're seeing. So no question about it. And even with the setting sun, you see it is not reducing the intensity of it, because as Harvey was mentioning, the strength from this storm comes from the upper atmosphere. So it's not relying solely on the heating of the earth to get this storm moving. We have the dynamics aloft as well.
All right, JC, we're going to let you go and take a break and monitor that situation and get some more information for us. As we do that, and she and Harvey are watching this continuously, we want to bring Peter Judge in from MEMA. He's with us on the phone right now. Peter, good evening to you.
Good evening, Heather.
Are you hearing reports of damage beyond trees down, wires down in Ashburnham and Westminster?
No, fortunately, we're doing call-arounds to all these communities in the northern tier of the state, and fortunately, the reports we're getting are just that. We've had reports of some lightning strikes. We've had reports of some down wires, down trees, but nothing greatly significant as far as the fear of any tornadic activity goes.
Peter, I want to make one point perfectly clear to folks, and that is that even if the storms have passed you, we now have a new threat in some of these communities as they go through, which is the wires down. You have to assume that a wire on the ground is a live wire, don't you?
Absolutely. If you see one in your neighborhood, report it to your either your utility or your local public safety people, but don't try to do anything on your own. Also, as you said, other stuff is coming through now, so you want to stay in the house right now. Stay away from your windows, stay in interior rooms. This will pass pretty quickly, but you want to be in a safe place.
Well, and the thing about it, Peter, is as you're talking, we're showing the radars, and the areas, the pockets of storm are intense, and the lightning will fill the entire pocket. So there is still some intensity, and you see one of them flaring up right now. The intensity is still there here at 8:18 at night. Are you hearing, just to go over it again, any loss of power, any reduction of power, any people just adversely affected in that way?
Nothing widespread at this point. I'm sure there's localized outages because we know there are wires down in these various communities, but it's a little early to get reports from the utilities if there's any real widespread outages.
If there's one message you want to get across to folks at home in any of these communities, and we see this moving in an easterly direction, and at some point, if it holds together, it's going to be coming towards Boston, what do you want to get across to folks?
Stay inside. Don't go out if you can possibly avoid it.
Well, there's nothing to see right now anyway, is there? Because it's dark out.
Absolutely, but now's not a good time to run an errand, those sorts of things. This will pass shortly, so stay in. As I said, stay away from your windows, stay in interior rooms, in a low point in your home, particularly if things start to go badly, you hear these very, very strong winds kicking up, and it doesn't have to be a tornado. I mean, these very strong winds can do some damage, so you want to keep you and your family safe for the next half hour or so.
Peter Judge from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, thank you for your time, sir. Always, as always, great information. And you can see on the side of your screen, our HD Doppler is indicating it's going through Maynard now. It's 7 minutes away from Sudbury, 9 minutes from Concord, Wayland in about 15 minutes, and Lincoln in about 17, and it's got Boston in its path, Harv.
Yeah, the Boston area certainly. Don't know if it'll make it all the way, of course, to Boston. Sure. But you're right, Ed. Just want to let you know the tornado warning is staying in effect until 8:30 because still currently radar continues to indicate the possibility of a tornado, meaning there's rotation with this particular cell right in here. It's been located near Lancaster, southeast of Leominster by about 8 miles, continues to move off to the southeast at 20 miles per hour. That's why you're seeing these towns on our storm tracker that would be next in line for at least a severe thunderstorm. And again, still the possibility exists of a tornado. Again, it's been shown by radar to be up at the base of the clouds. So far as we know, it's not official, but so far as we know, it has not made its way down to the ground, but it's possible that it has done it. It's possible it could still do it. And that's why the warning is there. A couple of other things. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 9 o'clock. This is for central Middlesex County. Again, a storm, you know, we continue to have these series of storms. See, there's another one right behind it that's also pretty strong. That's prompted a severe thunderstorm warning as well. But again, all these towns, if you're not affected by that, you're affected by a thunderstorm or will be. Bolton, Berlin, Hudson, Stowe, Maynard, Marlborough, Southborough, of course, Sudbury and Wayland. You have one storm and then another, and they're kind of tracking really one behind the other. A few things did come in, a couple of emails that we wanted to share with you. Chris in Fitchburg said for a brief period of time, very heavy winds, golf ball size hail near the Fitchburg State College downtown Fitchburg area. He sent this in at 8:04. Also, about an inch of rain quickly fell in Fitchburg with pea-size hail. This is from Warren, also in Fitchburg. And let's see if we have one other here. Anyway, here's an important question. Being in Acton, wondering why the tornado warning is not listed for Acton because it's pouring and thundering there. Well, again, you know, you have the official warnings. You have two cells. You have this cell. You have the one behind it. This has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning. This one is the one that's prompted the tornado warning. Still, we have something that's kind of close to being like a hook echo. And again, radar showing some rotation. Until that stops, it's showing some rotation on radar, then the warning stays in effect. Right now, it's in effect until 8:30. Again, these are the towns to be affected by this particular storm. Obviously, Sudbury's being affected now, but we talk about the heart of the storm moving through the towns. This is about how many minutes it will be. That's our storm tracker software. So that's the latest. We're about 8 minutes to go for this particular tornado warning, and we will see what happens at that particular time or before.
That's what I was going to ask you, Harv.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking behind you there, and it doesn't look like it's really diminishing.
Although, is this an indication where size matters in sometimes? Because Harvey, the one over your shoulder over Fitchburg right now looks like a much larger storm, and yet it's the smaller storm
that's concerning
that is of such great concern.
Right, of course, because what we're really concerned is the intensity. All right, now remember, there's possibly been some weakening with this, and we could see a pattern where this weakens some, this strengthens some. We're still dealing in a severe weather situation, and we have two cells. This one has possibly been or is possibly tornadic. This one is a severe thunderstorm. That's what's happening right now. But remember, things evolve. Weather changes over time. The atmosphere is always changing. And so as that happens, things dissipate, strengthen, weaken, can shift direction a little bit. And that's why we have to continue to monitor it until the threat is by the boards.
Just now coming into the Sudbury area, so I imagine if you're living in Sudbury, things are about to get a little bit noisy there. JC's just handing over some more information.
Just a continuation of the severe thunderstorm warning.
It's going to go beyond 8:30?
No. The severe thunderstorm warning is still up till 9 o'clock, so we're still continuing that.
Okay.
You have two of the finest meteorologists, by the way, who are watching everything for you and working very hard. So you're in very good, capable hands here, Harvey.
And Harvey, yes. I have noticed that one storm that is flirting with Maynard now, and pardon me, folks, I'm looking at it off screen here. You can see that one. That one right there. It does seem to be less intense now as time has gone on. So maybe it's finally hitting its wall.
We always hope so. Oh, there we go. JC has put it into motion. So you can see, yeah, I mean, it does give you some of that impression, but again, it still has something of that hook in there. So you could lose a little bit of the intensity of the rainfall, but still have a damaging wind situation. I mean, usually the two will go hand in hand, but again, you don't fool around when you have things like tornado warnings. I think all of us have seen what tornadoes have done in other parts of the country. And again, there have been situations. This is not this situation, but we can go back to June 9th of 1953 in Worcester. That was a major tornado. 94 lives were lost. This is what these storms can do when they're in their worst form.
Harvey,
yes.
Why don't we show folks? We have some video of it, local video. Let's watch and listen. I don't know if there's audio on this tape. Let's listen. Oh, that's a still picture.
This is Fitchburg, by the way.
No, there it goes. It's moving. But it doesn't have any audio behind
This
it.
appears to have been some of the pea-sized hail that fell in the Fitchburg area. We had reports, as somebody emailed into Harvey,
there
you can hear it a little bit, of golf ball-sized hail over at Fitchburg State College.
Look at the intensity of the wind too, Harvey, as it goes through.
Yeah, and this is just one person's video, which we of course greatly appreciate sharing with us, so we can share it with everybody else. But you remember, how many times people say, I saw one time where it rained on one side of the street and didn't even rain on the other side.
Sure.
So you have to remember that one side of town could be fringed by a storm, and the other side of town could suffer major damage. We've seen that so many times already this particular summer.
Boy, we sure have.
Right, you have localized severe damage, and that's the point. And if you're not affected by that, be grateful that you're not affected, and be supportive of your